Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. There's a lot of stuff going on in the economy right now, and the biggest thing on the news and globally that people are worried about are the tariffs. And so, how are the tariffs going to impact you as a military surplus collector? Let's get into it. There's a lot to cover, and I don't think you should be really freaking out, but there's a lot of people out there freaking out. Hopefully, this can help put your mind at ease and just kind of give you some insight on what to expect. All right, so the biggest thing that people are concerned about in the gun community overall would be ammo. Now, that's the biggest thing that concerns people because all the raw materials to make brass, to make lead and stuff like that, that's mainly overseas. And also a lot of the components that make up a cartridge, those are made overseas and brought to the US, or the ammo itself is made overseas and imported into the US. So when those things are tariffed even more and brought into the US, then you are going to see a higher price on them, and something that might just be astronomical to some of us. Now, this can range anywhere from your common calibers all the way up to the very hard to find military surplus calibers. So most common ones would be like 9mm Luger, 5.56, 7.62x39, and some of your more obscure ammo is going to be like your 9mm Steyr, 303 British, your 7.65 Parabellum, stuff like that. And a lot of those manufacturers overseas, you got to think Fiocchi, Cellar and Bellat. And one of the biggest ones that we see here, that's the cheapest that you can get anywhere, is PPU. So yeah, the tariffs are definitely going to impact the ammo manufacturers and the ammo component distributors. So you got a lot of weapons that are made overseas as well that get imported in. So if you're a cowboy action shooter, you probably know about Rossi. Rossi's from Brazil. Those get imported in, and those are going to cost a lot more now if those tariffs go through. You got to think about Uberti and Pedersoli. Those are Italian. Those come into the country on higher tariffs. There's going to be a higher cost of those. Another thing that you might not think about if you're a military surplus guy is the gear and the clothing. So if you're a collector of the small knickknacks and the uniforms, you're probably going to see higher prices on those as well. Now, because a lot of the components are going to be tariffed, you're going to see probably US manufacturers also increase their prices because all the component costs are going up because of the tariffs. Now, I talked with Andy Steinel at Steinel Ammo, local manufacturer and distributor of ammo produced here in the US, and a lot of the stuff that they get are from the countries that are overseas. Now, just a disclaimer here, Steinel Ammo sponsors a lot of my videos. Oh yeah, and Steinel Ammo is offering free shipping for orders over $175. Don't know how long it's going to last, but if you need ammo for your military surplus weapons, go check out Steinel Ammo. Now, he said he was talking to some of the producers here of some of the components, and yeah, it's going to be a little tight for the next few months. So it's going to be tight for consumers, it's going to be tight for distributors and manufacturers. Now, in my opinion, I think that the local producers, the local manufacturers and distributors are probably going to be a little bit better off than some of the producers, manufacturers, and distributors are overseas. Part of the tariff plan, and I'm not an economist, so I don't know the full scale of which way this could go or what the overall objectives are. But if some of those countries bring their production to the US, that could open up jobs, that can open up cheaper prices rather than having to ship everything from overseas. With that being said, that's why I think that the guys that are already established in the US would be a little bit better off, because it could take years to ramp up a production facility. But something else that could happen too is because the production's coming to the US, you're going to have to hire US labor, and US labor is a little bit more expensive than overseas labor. So in that aspect, yeah, production costs are going to go up, and so that would make ammo increase as well. Speaking of labor, let's talk about labor and the future of labor, because the way we think about labor now is kind of archaic. We also have to consider that billionaires, CEOs, why aren't a lot of these business owners, these companies, pushing back on the tariff plan? Maybe it's because they've had meetings and they kind of foresee where the US economy is going and the trajectory is going down. So billionaires are like chess players. They're always thinking 5 to 10 moves ahead, maybe even like 20 moves ahead. I think right now what they're looking at is labor, the future of labor, because the future of labor is about to be revolutionized. In the last few years, what was hyped up? AI and AI robotics. AI robotics, fairly new concept, but training AI robots to do laborious tasks and do it proficiently is going to take some time. In the meanwhile, while that is happening, and many companies are already innovating in that space, there can be manufacturing facilities built up from scratch in the US, and that might set apart the US from many other countries. The biggest competitor is China. China has a lot of infrastructure, a lot of industry, and they already provide the world with so much, and they've grown their economy exponentially within just the last couple decades. So when we think about this, the US is lagging behind, and one thing the US does not like to do is to lag behind. We always like to be up front and first. So we have all this revolutionary AI and robotics technology in the works, but what are we going to do putting them to use? China's doing the same thing with their robotics and AI, and they've probably already got a whole bunch of industry ready to go. Well, when it comes to the US, we need to do the same thing. We don't want to be lag behind. We want other countries to purchase from China and get those manufactured goods from China when, hey, here in the US, we can have AI and robotics labor at a very cheap cost, and we'll hire a bunch of programmers, software engineers, robotics technicians, maintenance personnel, instead of manual labor guys putting pieces on components and shipping it out on a manufacturing line. So, I think if you're thinking 10 steps ahead, you're already seeing where the trajectory of the US was going at the archaic ways that we've held on to. And it seems like with this new revolution in industry coming, that we need to bring that industry back into the US. Very speculative, I know, but I mean, if you just look at what's going on right now, this could be the main reason why they're trying to get the industry back in the US, and they're being quiet about it because guess who's making a bunch of money off this? All right, like I stated before, I'm not an economist. I just kind of see things how they're going, and some of the other economical type YouTube and finance type YouTube channels out there are making videos about the tariffs, and I just kind of waited to see how everything goes. Interesting enough, God Family Guns actually posted about the tariffs and the gun industry like almost 3 months ago, and he was saying that the ammo prices are going to go higher. So his warning was way ahead of time, way ahead of a lot of other YouTubers, including this video. I think overall it's a strategy to get people on a negotiating table. Now they did go a lot of these other videos out there. You should go check them out. They really discuss the pros and cons. But what I could really see is that the trajectory of the U.S. and the U.S. economy was kind of going on a path that was not very good. It was just not going to be very good for us in the long run. So the plan is to correct the trajectory and just do like a U-turn, backtrack a bit, and then kind of go off on a different path. That hopefully should help. But in doing so, with the increase in tariffs, it's also going to cause some bad things. The pros is it's going to help out with the national debt. It's going to help out with trade deficit, and they're trying to decrease overspending. And of course, the bad thing is trade relations, tariff war. If some countries don't agree to this, then they'll just say, okay, yeah, we'll just suck it up and pay those tariffs to get stuff exported to the US. There could be some more positives if some of these countries start negotiating and they lower those tariffs. But there's still going to be higher prices due to the tariffs anyways. Now, if some of these countries oppose the tariffs, yeah, this could be bad because you're going to just see overall higher prices. What am I doing right now, and how am I going to manage the tariffs and the ammo prices and the weapons? What I do is I go around looking for good deals. So you might be able to find some better deals going to some smaller places that might not be ordering a lot of the ammo like PPU, and maybe they still have an old stash that you could pick up for cheap. And the reality was, after the pandemic, when ammo production started increasing and the buyers started decreasing, that's when you had a good amount of ammo on the market. So that would have been the time to stock up if you were needing some ammo. So in those times, yeah, that's why you want to stock up when the times are good. Now, what could happen is a lot of people probably going to go out there and get ammo. I've already heard from a few places that the ammo is getting bought up pretty fast right now. So that's why you want to stock up on ammo when times are good. And then when stuff like this happens, you already have the ammo. And you're not having to fight with other consumers over ammo, and the distributors are racking up their prices because they know that an ammo rush is happening, so you're not going to be paying higher prices anyways. So with that being said, yeah, we're already starting to see some higher prices on the ammo side. What are you guys doing? Let me know what your thoughts are on the tariff war here. Will we see some of these countries start to negotiate, or will we just kind of have higher prices all around? And with that being said, be sure to learn history and curate history. Pulverize the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Make it a great day.